Merry Christmas from the Bohn family. I hope you had a great year this year. We had a terrific 2014. And our family's kind of expanding out. And so Karis is 20 and she's out on her own. And Elizabeth is 18 and thinks she runs the place. And Deborah, she's 16 and she pretty much does run the place. She's like 16 going on 25. And so speaking as for Wendy and me as parents, it's a little scary to have your kids flying out of the nest. But in 2014, we've learned a few things. Here's 10 of them. Number 1, the bigger things get, the smaller they become. Knives Ship Free is our online business, and it's my employment now. And it has continued to grow and is doing very well. And we ship packages all over the world. But, so, I mean, bigger. But this year, I got a call from a friend in Tuttle who was actually a teenager in the church whenever we were there. And he called, he says, I can't believe you run Knives Ship Free. I've been buying from you and I love the site. That was pretty cool. Another experience was Deborah went to camp and she was a counselor, and one of her fellow counselors they were just making conversation, and Deborah made a comment about his knife, and he's like, how do you know about knives? She said, well, my parents run an online knife store, Knives Ship Free. And he's like, seriously? He didn't believe him, because he's like, no way, that's an international company. That's a huge knife company. The bigger things are, the smaller they become. Number 2, when you go out of town, be careful, because when you come home, you might not have a home.
This summer, I planned a trip to go back to the Midwest, and I was going to be gone right around 2 weeks. And so while I was at my mom's house, Derrick gives me a phone call, and he said, what would you think about buying the house next door? We can make it happen. And we'd already talked about going from a 2-story to a single level, and so I kind of paused and said, okay. And then Derrick called back and he said, all right, it's happening. Okay. And a few days later, a couple weeks later, I'm not sure, Derrick calls again and he said, all right, we've bought the house. We need to get everything out of the house that we currently own so that we can have it ready for the realtor to show. And so Derrick and the girls worked like crazy and got our house packed up. And when I came back, we didn't have a house to live in. And so we stayed with Derrick's mom for a couple, well, I thought it was going to be 4 or 5 days. And it ended up being 4 or 5 weeks that Derrick was talking about. And I don't know what the duration was, but it was more than that. So it all comes down to, I left with a home and I came back homeless.
Number 3, mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be missionaries.
This summer I worked a lot with kids at camps. I was a leader and a camper at some. And at one camp in particular, I got to baptize girls. I got to baptize 3 girls. And that drove me to God. And then I went to another camp called CIY, and one of the main focuses is missions. And they were talking about missions, and I was so interested and so driven to do it. But the country that kept on coming to my mind is China. And so I was like, okay, I want to go to China. And then it kind of fell behind. And then my youth leader came up to me and he was like, hey, there's this mission team that came and talked to us, and they go on a mission trip for like a month. So he gave me the website and I looked it up, and they had one to China. So, but I kept on researching, and I found a group that has come to my school before called Royal Servants, and they had a mission trip to China for a month and 11 days. And I fell in love with the idea. And I applied and I did all this stuff and I got accepted, and it was such a great thing, and I was so excited. So this summer I'm planning on going to China for a month and 11 days. So one of the biggest obstacles for going on a mission trip is finances. And of course, going to China is pretty expensive. So you can expect a letter or a call or an email or something. So have your checkbooks ready.
Number 4, life after high school is very different than life in the high school. And it's good.
So this June I graduated from high school, and now I am at PCC and working at Knives Ship Free. At Knives Ship Free, I'm helping Annette with shipping and inventory and pulling orders. It's been a lot of fun, and my favorite part would definitely be the coworkers.
Like your dad?
No.
Yes? Try again. Yes. Say yes.
No, I'm not gonna lie.
Number 5, good friends and good employees are very hard to beat. So this year we expanded Knives Ship Free, and we needed a lot more warehouse space. And so in the middle of the summer, we decided we were going to move it, and it was a huge undertaking. And we had a friend take over moving the entire store and setting it up. We had our employees came in and worked tirelessly, brought their friends, their family in to help, and worked tirelessly. And we packed the entire store and all of the inventory, all of the office supplies, everything we had. We packed it and loaded it in a truck and took it across town and unloaded it all in a weekend. It was amazing. We closed things down on Friday about noon. We worked all weekend, and we shipped on Monday. Awesome. Number 6, old dogs can learn new tricks. And even though Karis has just turned 20, she's still got a few new tricks up her sleeve.
So I've been working at Capital One now since September of 2012, so I've been there for a while now. I've been doing several different things. One thing I've started doing this last year is I've been working in small business, high value small business. So whenever people spend a lot of money with their business, I answer all their phone calls. While I've been doing that, I've learned that I really enjoy artwork. I've been doing a lot of Zen Doodle or Zen Tangles, and I've been working on that and really work to get better and teach myself at that. And now I'm going to continue that and work into calligraphy. I'm going to start taking a calligraphy class this next year.
Number 7, speaking of old dogs, this old dog still has a few tricks. Not that I'm learning any, but I still have a couple. Wendy and I have been attending a church, Village Baptist Church, and we've really liked it. It's a big church, a couple thousand people. And I am a part of the sermon planning group with the senior pastor. And we meet every week and talk about his sermon. And so we've gotten to be very close. And twice this year, he's asked me to fill in and preach for him. And it was a blast. I loved it. It's like riding a bicycle. A really, really loved bicycle. Number 8. One of the things we learned this year is that the relentless pursuit of balls is a religious experience. Number 9, we've learned that it really takes a very long time to heal from the kind of trauma that we've had in our lives over the last couple years. But we are learning that you do heal. Number 10, we've been reminded this year of the value of our friends and our family. And we're really grateful for all of the connections that we have with you. Merry Christmas from all of us to all of you.
2, 3. Merry Christmas, everybody. Should we kiss now? Do you think they believe we like each other?
I hope so, because we do. You dog.